Heidi ho, neighbors. Welcome. We're not raptured. How are you? I'm Jer Stays.
Bruh, do not ever start the show like that again. Heidi ho, neighbors.
I was thinking about Ned Flanders. I feel like
know
he would have
that.
been really into the rapture.
Nah, he would have been into it, but yeah, nah, I'm not. Heidi ho, neighbors? No. Let's run that back and try that again.
Well, we're not using that for the main show. Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to our live stream here on YouTube, wherever you've landed to us from, wherever the internet. I'm Jer Stays. If this is your first time here, to my left is none other than Norris Howard. We are working in public, recording our episode for tomorrow.
That's right.
And doing our live chat like we do every week. Tuesdays have been a little bit more comfy lately.
Yeah, it's just been nice and good to talk to the people. Tuesdays have been wonderful, and a lot of y'all been showing up for us, and so we want to continue the trend.
For sure. Now, I have been asked in the past, our guy here, the bird.
Oh, Young Fezzy.
Young Fezzy.
Yeah.
And Fezzy is our friend.
Yeah, that's the homie. If you got an issue with Fezzy, you got an issue with me. Fezzy is the homie. Fezzy is our team mascot, and a new addition to Daily Detroit, but appreciated addition nonetheless.
Well, you know, the pheasants in Detroit are not native birds. They're from Europe.
That's
and
right.
this actually was a hand painted pheasant or
Yes.
statue from my partner Amy.
There you go.
So anyway, just waiting here for people to join us before we get started.
Yeah, and another thing I want to say about the pheasants, okay? I don't think you really been here long enough unless you see a pheasant, right? Like if you tell me, like there's not any flightless birds in Detroit. Yeah, there are. Yeah, you gotta see them. So I think for a while during the pandemic they were even more free range, but obviously since we've been back out for a few years, they have kind of went back into their hidey holes. But yeah, we got plenty of pheasants, man. Deer. It always freaks people out when I tell people like, oh yeah, in Detroit, man, we be having deer, pheasants, and all kind of wildlife, coyotes.
Raccoons just sitting out on the front porch. My neighbor had raccoons sitting on the front porch eating potato chips.
There's a joke there. I'm not gonna go there. There is a joke there, though.
I was talking with a friend of the show, and what makes you a Detroiter? Like when you finally settled in and become a bit of a townie.
All right, I'm gonna say this, and people ain't gonna like this. Y'all ain't gonna like this, but I treat it like how the Romans treated. You got to be here 3 generations.
See, I was not going to go that deep.
All right, no, you don't have to go that deep, but I think you are a Detroiter. You do got to put some years in, I feel. Because I feel like this town, this city has so much interconnectedness.
Yeah.
That just dropping down for a year or so, you will never really get the full breadth of what it means to be a Detroiter. When you go out with your friends who are from Detroit and you recognize the sheer magnitude of how many cousins they have, like you're starting to enter Detroiter phase.
My working guide was going to be, have you ever been truly, deeply frustrated by something in the city?
By city function or lack thereof.
Right. Like, has it ever truly frustrated you? Have the scales of it's magical? Like, yes, it is magical, and yes, it is wonderful. But have you actually experienced something so maddeningly that doesn't make sense that it's going that way? That's when you're in, and it usually takes you a little while to do that.
It takes a minute. Like, yeah, once the honeymoon period wears off, and you're just like, why doesn't this just work? You approach it there, like, you know. I remember one of the things for a long time. I had a friend of mine who moved here from out west, and he was just like, y'all don't recycle here. And I was like, yeah, we do. We take our cans to the store. And he was just like, Brody, that is not recycling.
Well, now we do.
Now
we have curbside.
But even then, it's not real recycling because you're supposed to have to separate the stuff. You're supposed to separate.
We don't separate our
your
stuff.
glass from your paper products from
you just
your
put
plastics.
All in the bin.
Yeah, no, you're supposed to separate that. If not, just go get burnt up just like everything else. Like, we don't even do that properly.
Okay, some years ago, back when we were in the Detroit Shipping Company, I did an episode with somebody from a waste hauling company. Mm-hmm. And I had never gotten people so mad at me when they said that like most recycling just gets thrown in the trash.
It's true.
They
No,
got
it's just
so
true.
upset, especially because apparently we had been sending a bunch of our recycling to China and they just weren't taking it anymore.
Yeah, because they was just like, y'all didn't separate it. No, listen, man, there's a lot of stuff we just getting used to here in Detroit, and recycling is one of them. But at least the city does give you your bins for free if you live in the city. I did find that out, which was weird to me when I did my 2-year stint in the suburbs. Actually, that's a good topic for another day. Is what did I discover about the suburbs that I actually went, nah, I'm not feeling that. Which was a lot of stuff.
All right, what's another one as we get people joining us for the chat?
That was a good one, which is you have to pay for your own trash bins, which I think is whack for as much money as there is in certain suburbs. Like making me pay for my own trash
Well,
bins.
and you're also paying for the trash service, right?
Yes, because it's privatized.
Right. Same here. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. But still whack. Like, no, completely should be taken care of by the city. That is a city function that is necessary, and it should be handled by the city. We didn't always have privatized trash service, but that's, again, another story for another time. Another thing I didn't like, which is going to rub some people the wrong way, but guess what? Don't care. I hate how much stuff is kid-centric. And what I mean by that is the complete non-availability of any sort of semblance of nightlife or adult-centered things that's not Applebee's or, like a restaurant bar.
Like it's kid only as opposed to being a mixed situation.
Yeah,
because I have strong feelings about this as a non-child.
Because
person.
okay, like for instance, like a suburb like Ferndale and Royal Oak, these are suburbs that have nightlife, and that's cool. That's why they're much cooler places to live in, right? Whereas places like Canton, well, there's not shit to do in Livonia, period. But
I was just in Livonia recently. Picked up a beautiful piece for the dining room. Actually,
Yeah.
there's really talented people in Livonia,
and they got a lot of people who do a lot of dope stuff on Etsy, and they got a lot of nice sort of antique shops if you can find them. But ain't nothing to do out there. So like Canton, Redford, Livonia, no nightlife. Everything there is centered completely around children and people's schedule for their children. So you can't just meet your boy and just be like, hey, bro, I'm grabbing some brews down the way. And he'd be like, nah, man, I got the Rugrats and we got to go to soccer practice. Then we got to go to their tutor and then we got to go to... No, take that kid home. Let them fend for themselves.
See, I have two thoughts on this. One, I think it's important for people to spend time with their friends, not just, their kids, right?
Facts.
But I also know it's really hard. So you have to give an allowance for those first couple years. Those first few years are super hard.
No, I'm okay with that. You got toddlers, like newborn toddler age. I'm accepting I'm not going to see you for a couple years.
Or you need to make the effort, and I also try to make sure that there's always something like I'm a cousin-uncle, right?
Right. So
and
you
I
could go to them.
I also make sure that there's always something at the house.
Yeah.
Where it's like if they were around, there was a really good piece actually on the financial diet about this.
Yeah.
About the amount of effort, because I don't think adults should lose their friendships, and making things so far apart actually hurts that a lot. Like being so far apart. I've got my own little thing that I think maybe has changed since the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's that Sunday nights are completely dead. I was out picking up something in Livonia. There was nothing open.
Stupid.
And I was going to go to El Nibble Nook.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And because I was already out there literally around the corner, everything dead.
That's stupid. It's stupid. There are people on Sunday who want to go out and have something to do. And the fact that everything shuts down early on Sunday is dumb. I agree. Listen, both my parents, my mom and dad, had very vibrant adult like friendships that they've both made and maintained. They also have friends that they've known from high school and college years, and they had children. And so I don't understand this concept of like, oh, I have kids and therefore I can't have friends. Or like
it takes more work. It takes more work.
It does take more work, but it really don't take that much. See, listen, if you're a single parent, okay, that's harder, significantly. Not for a multitude of reasons, but yeah, it's a lot harder to just call family, get a babysitter, all that stuff for you to go out and have a good night. But like if you got a spouse, like, nah, dog, go out. Like, hey man, watch the kids tonight. I'm going out, and vice versa.
We have friends in the chat. Hello, Stina Lee. We appreciate you so much. Christina Potts, and this was answered in the chat asking where we film in Detroit. We have a studio at TechTown at the corner of Cass and Burroughs. Beautiful natural light here. There's a lot of tchotchkes. You'll see more stuff sometimes when we do wide shots or we have a third guest.
Yeah.
You know, see different sides of it.
Yeah,
but,
we right here nestled between Wayne State and New Center.
Don't burn anything. The cop shop's across the street.
That's true. So be careful.
What was it? Did you ever play? Well, I guess that you wouldn't play this game, but when you drive by a cop and it's like, don't look, don't be suspicious. Don't be like, just, you know, play cool.
I'm suspicious.
That's true.
I was
in the middle of that. I'm like, yes, you.
Yes,
by
I have.
definition, are suspicious.
Yes.
Not that you should be suspicious,
yes.
but by definition, you are.
This man was literally, have you ever had this experience with the police?
Yes, all of them. What experience have I not had with the
thank
police?
you. Come on, my guy. Anyway.
Well, you responded with a my guy, so
Yeah.
that's responding in kind.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got a show to do today. Let's line out for people how we normally do this.
That's
So
right.
We do a little bit of live chat as people are joining us. We get together with you all, and then we record our podcast that will be aired tomorrow about what to know and where to go. Now, if you've got questions and things, put them in the chat. We might be able to refer to them, but it's really hard for podcast listeners, which is our like main audience. It'd be really weird if you're like driving down the street and we're like, blah, 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 chat. Like that takes people out of the mind. So what we will do is answer those questions and get into those conversations after we record. We usually stick around for a little while.
That's right.
And answer people's questions or what they're into and,
Kick back.
stories around town. Yeah, kick back a little bit. You, me, and Fezzy.
That's right. If you got questions for Fezzy, Fezzy doesn't like to talk very much. We will answer for Fezzy.
All right, I guess we should get in the main part of the show, huh?
Let's do it.
All right. So it will sound funny because I will say our show for the 24th when it's the 23rd on the live stream.
I think they get it.
But that's the magic of television.
Yep.
All right. We'll get recording here. All right, we are recording. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Daily Detroit, sharing what to know and where to go in Southeast Michigan. I am Jer Stays, coming to you from our studio at TechTown in the Paris of the Midwest. That is Detroit. Joining me to my left is none other than the Prince of Brightmoor himself, Norris Howard. How are you?
What's going on, everybody? I am happy to be back once again and having a chance to chat with you, Jer Stays.
We are unraptured.
We are unraptured. We have made it 24 hours still here on planet Earth. So I guess that means it's time for the mark of the beast. And all the rest of the stuff is the seals have opened and we are now in the apocalypse. So here we are.
Well, listen, during the apocalypse, apparently the Lions win. So I'm down.
You know what? Maybe this is how we know truly the world is ending because they looked like they were a Super Bowl caliber team last night.
That was
the other night, I should say.
Yeah, that was a beautiful thing to see. We're going to talk to Fletcher Sharp at some point about this. And, of course, looking ahead to next week and the Tigers, which we need to hold on.
We got to hold on.
We got to hold on. I will be very disappointed.
Yeah.
If we don't make the playoffs. I know I shouldn't say that way. It'd
No,
be like
we'll make
crazy.
it.
I want us to be.
We'll make it. We'll make it.
I like your confidence.
Go ahead, make it.
Let's get into some stories around town. Making statewide news local, Belle Isle may temporarily close as Michigan lawmakers race against an October 1st budget deadline. The State House budget proposal would slash more than $10 million from the Department of Natural Resources, Parks, and Recreation Division, eliminating 136 jobs statewide. DNR officials warned these cuts could mean fewer rangers, slower response times, and a diminished visitor experience at Belle Isle, among other state parks. The proposed cuts would directly impact Belle Isle's nearly $3 million annual budget. Basically, there needs to be a deal in order for this to not happen. Budget negotiations continue. The biggest sticking point is road funding, but there are other issues. If you see a shutdown happening, it's not going to be just the parks. There's going to be other things. You got to think your Secretary of State, other stuff. Things will go to a skeleton crew. And then the idea of us heading towards a double shutdown,
because it's very possible,
of a federal and state shutdown at the same time. This is an example of dysfunction made real.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, just to first of all highlight, the state level situation. I have it on background from sources in Lansing that have said, listen, the GOP is not, negotiating with us in good faith. Their lines in the sand are things that don't make sense. There are things that shouldn't necessarily be something that we should be arguing about. Things like school lunch funding, things like SNAP benefits, bridge card benefits to get people meals. These are things that we shouldn't have arguments about, right? Like feeding kids in school. Study after study has shown this is a positive thing that we need to do. That's not happening. The road funding, as you mentioned, is a big thing. Giving money to our infrastructure. Like, why is this a thing that we can't negotiate right now? We all use the roads. Figure it out. But I think the more damaging thing here is the fact that under the shadow of what's happening at the federal level and this now, you have the possibility of kids going to school without being able to eat, municipal services shutting down en masse, coming down to a skeleton crew. So I'm telling y'all right now, if you haven't renewed your passport or your driver's license or anything like that, you should do it now. All sorts of things that we kind of depend on but don't think about, because when government is run well, it's actually quite invisible. It's almost amorphous. And, we talk too much about government right now because it's not working for us. And I think a lot of people feel the same way.
The craziness that you see on social media and all the stuff that you're seeing playing out also results in dysfunction. And I have been really worried about this for months. When I was on Mackinac, I've reserved trying to talk about this too much because I wanted to be on the side of, all right, since it's been a long time since we've had a shutdown, but it's clear we could be heading towards a double shutdown. When I was in Mackinac, I saw the animus between Democrats and Republicans on this one. And like the sheer personal disrespect is a whole new level in this current legislature. And it was major red flags for me because I am not really a partisan. I don't subscribe to either party.
Right.
And I don't do that because I feel it's important to hold people accountable in the position that I am in.
Facts.
And you have to sometimes ask questions that even people who might support you most of the time don't like. That's part of being independent and working without fear or favor.
Facts.
And there's not enough of that in this media environment right now. And I have been worried about this for months, and it seems like we have made very little to no progress. And I almost want a shutdown at this point because the regular public that isn't tuned into politics every day, because most people aren't arguing on X or Threads or whatever about this stuff. People need to understand things have been breaking for a while, and there needs to be action. This is democracy. Like, we have a role to play.
It's the kid touching the stove, right? We can only tell you so many times to not touch the stove until eventually you do and you burn yourself, right? Some people have enough sense to not touch the stove at all. They can feel the heat emanating off of the eye and realize, let me not do that. It looks like it's going to hurt. But it seems like the vast majority of people are willing to let themselves just completely broil their own hands where we are right now. And, I think it's doubly disappointing because previously we're arguing about things that, because of the national conversation, that normally we'd be able to come to a consensus on, that we're just not coming to a consensus on.
The reality is that you're supposed to have an agreement where there's things in it that you don't like. And it feels like with culture nowadays, people expect all or nothing.
Yeah, and that's not possible. It's not possible when we're dealing with other human beings, period. I don't care. Take it out of politics. No one will ever get everything they want in an agreement. That's because it's an agreement, right? Like we negotiate. And so, I look at this and I go, previously we have always been able to come to the table to fund law enforcement. We've always been able to come to the table to fund schools. We've always been able to come to the table to fund a myriad of things. And it seems like now those are lines in the sand from, one side of the aisle that, they know for a fact. No Democrat right now is going to vote to take money away from free school lunches. It's not going to happen.
So we can look past is an indicator of the future on this. And if you go to Bridge, Michigan, there's an article that talks about some of the things that happened before. So about 2/3 of the state's workers could be laid off, which is, you could also get back pay for that when they get the money together. But you're going to see when you lose 2/3 of your workforce,
stuff don't work. They just don't work. So here's what we're talking about: state level workers, right? If you're talking about people who are all this construction y'all mad about, that everybody's mad about, get ready for that to take longer, right? Get ready for there to be a reduction in state police force. There still will be state police, but non-essential staff may be furloughed. Get ready for your state parks to be shuttered, grass not to be cut, maintained, all that type of stuff, right? Like all your general services departments that fall under the state auspices will not be working. Like these are things that we need to function every day, and they just won't work.
One thing I want to highlight before we leave this topic, and this was something that was brought up at our studio get together on Saturday, which, by the way, thank you everyone who came out.
That's right, yeah.
Education. Mm-hmm. There was supposed to be a school's budget July 1st.
Yep.
We are in violation of the law right now. There are school districts in limbo, not sure what's going to be happening. This is irresponsibility, and this is part of why maybe the car's got to crash.
Yeah, and listen, the children are the ones who are going to suffer. You're going to have teachers who are not properly getting paid. You're going to have aides who aren't getting paid. You're going to have lunches that won't be delivered to the most vulnerable children in the state. We are willing right now to continue to victimize our most vulnerable people in order to play out political theater, and that infuriates me, and it should infuriate you too. And so let's hold our leaders accountable, because as it stands right now, I don't think nobody should be sitting in Lansing.
Feedback, as always, dailydetroit@gmail.com or 313-789-3211. Let's shift our lens local about the Hotel Yorba.
Yeah, so apparently the Hotel Yorba is being shuttered. No more people.
Historic Detroit reports that it has been ordered to close its doors due to serious safety concerns. This was made famous by the White Stripes.
Yeah, it was. And, I know a lot of people have a deep feeling about Hotel Yorba. And, it's stood there since the 1920s, 1926, I believe. And, it is a big landmark right there off 75. You coming down from or I should say up from downriver, up I-75. You've seen Hotel Yorba. If you live in the Southwest, you know where Hotel Yorba is. It is a major landmark. But I'm going to be honest with you. I thought it was shut down for the longest. I didn't know it was a thing that was still open.
We could have gotten a short-term rental.
For real. Like, I didn't know it was still open.
So this was first reported by historicdetroit.org, and then Cranes Detroit Business follows up and said that city inspectors discovered violations including non-functional fire safety equipment, structural issues with collapsing ceilings, water damage from a leaking roof, and pests. The Detroit Housing and Revitalization Department is working to move residents. The building will remain boarded up until it's sold and renovated to meet safety standards. Now, I want to highlight this building because it's important. Everybody knows about it. But also, there's a number of other buildings in this kind of situation around town. One of them, most notably, is the Leland, which is held by, I think, don't quote me, but I think held by an estate of the now deceased Michael Higgins. And it has been, viewers have sent me videos.
It's just a giant, gross albatross.
Yeah, of the situation. There's been a few different reports that we'll link to in the show notes. But I feel like there is a series of these buildings that the city really needs to get its arms around. Now, I understand you don't want to close a building down and just throw people in the tents. You want to have situations for it. But like some of the video that I've been sent is harrowing as far as the leaks coming in. Some of the reports of the roof, like you just go by the building. Sometimes I've walked down there, over by Times Square. And it's like, yes, I'm glad that they're taking action with the Hotel Yorba, but I think there's going to be a number of buildings that the city needs to take a look at. And I know it's a resources question, but this is something that I really hope that the next mayor really gets their arms around as a fresh administration. People deserve, if you're going to live somewhere and pay rent, they deserve not to have like holes in their walls or the issues at the Hotel Yorba that were outlined, that people need safe places. And I think that's an important thing to look at.
Yeah. And listen, if the edifice and the structural integrity of the building is still there, it should be rehabbed and it should be used for its primary use, which is either residential or as a hotel again. The thing for me is that, we talk about all the new investment that's coming into the city of Detroit. We talk about new investment that is going downtown. And this is the sort of stuff that I think, residents have a point when they say they want to see that level of revitalization in their neighborhoods. Hotel Yorba is a place that could easily become a jewel of Southwest once again. Mm-hmm. It's if somebody comes in, they're willing to put some money into it, or a consortium of developers that are willing to put some money into it. I think it's there. So for me, I really want to see somebody put the bread into it. Or if not, what I always say, knock it down and make something new. Extend Clark Park. I don't know. Like make it so that land has use besides just a giant albatross on top of it that nobody wants to touch.
I really hope that the Yorba gets fixed up because here's the thing. It's only 4 stories, so you don't have as many infrastructure requirements.
That's right.
There is an argument for building things in that 3 to 4 story height because it can try to keep costs kind of low.
Yeah.
Because, one of the issues that's been with the United Artists reportedly is things with elevators when you start going real tall. And we only have so many people supporting that tall of an elevator in Metro Detroit, Michigan, because we only have so many of those buildings.
Exactly. And so with Hotel Yorba, even if they knock it down and put a 401 over there, the point is I want people there living in that building or on that site. It sucks to see such an iconic, you know what, maybe they build a new building, but they keep the sign. They keep the big sign on it.
You know what I saw in Toronto I really liked?
Yeah.
When they would keep the facade and build new behind it when the building had crapped out.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
And there's some really interesting and beautiful things you can do with that blend of new and old that there's the beginnings of what that could be actually in Grand Circus Park in downtown Detroit on Adams.
Yep.
That is something that, go check it out. That's been in it was in the Chrysler commercial. The shame is that they haven't moved on it.
They didn't finish
The shame that they have not finished. There's still just an empty lot back there. I want to see more stuff like that. But I would love to hear what you all think. Is there a building that you want to focus on? Who does really good reporting around that is our friends at Outlier Media.
That's right.
But if there's something like that, let us know. dailydetroit@gmail.com. All right, let's pay a couple of bills. First off, today's show is brought to you in part by today's sponsor, your local Metro Detroit Best Choice Roofing. In my mind, there's one choice for roofing around here, and I'd go with your best choice. Whether it's time to replace your roof or repair it, Best Choice Roofing provides top-notch roofing services tailored to meet the unique needs of Detroit area homes and businesses. They serve the region and inside the city of Detroit, too. And let me tell you, as a longtime city resident, finding a good contractor within the city, it's a hard thing to do. So check these guys out. Find out more at bestchoiceroofing.com/Detroit. That's bestchoiceroofing.com/Detroit. Or call 313-474-7031. That's 313-474-7031. We're also brought to you by our members on Patreon. Local media requires local support to survive. I will always promise that we are fearless, independent, and fair, telling you our analysis and the news in the best way that we know how. So support us, patreon.com/dailydetroit. It's ironic that I was talking about how our members support us because you're about to talk about some people.
I'm not about to talk about people. I just don't like when people take what I'm saying out of context or don't look deeper. They don't find the deeper meaning here. So let's start off, first of all.
Our mailbag segment.
This is the mailbag segment. Jer, what do people have to say to me?
All right, there's 2 main topics I want to get into.
Okay.
First off, and I will quote one, but I will outline the greater idea.
Okay.
And the greater idea is that you're not grateful, Norris.
Oh, what's that mean?
Alex Mercer 9164. I cringed when he voiced his disdain for the company that's investing $600 billion into your community, and others. I've got Norris along these same lines saying that you were rude for talking about your not like of Apple products and that you're not grateful for the investment that's happening here.
First of all,
This is, by the way, this is in reference to our Friday episode.
Yes, of the
where
Apple.
we were live recording in Parker's Alley. That was a lot of fun. That video did really well for us. Did very well.
No, it was fine. And listen, let me tell you, I appreciate the investment. I don't have to like the products, and that's what I'm talking about. I don't like the products. I don't like how they're built. I don't like how they're sourced. I don't have to, right? I can like that you're employing people. I'm pretty sure there's people here who don't like Jeeps. But guess what? Jeep has made a massive investment in the city of Detroit. You don't have to like Jeep. Let me just bring this to a larger concept that I think people have I think certain people have an issue with when I say this, all right? Investment in the city of Detroit is good. I want more investment in the city of Detroit. Every Detroiter is not going to like every investment, and they don't have to. And that's fine, because everything is not made for everyone. I will probably never shop at that store, ever. I have no reason to. However, plenty of people will. And guess what? I'm happy for those people. So before you sit around and say, you should be grateful they're putting a store down there, you should be grateful I spent my time and thought on you, all right? So at the end of the day, learn to sort of break down what I'm talking about and really understand where I'm coming from, because if you listen to the show more than just that episode, you know I have never liked Apple, and that's how I've always been. So I hope the store is a great success. I hope the people that work there for a long time and get a great standard of living and competitive wages and time off and paid leave and all that good stuff. And I hope the customers are satisfied with their service. And the Academy teaches all these people and businesses how to be better businesses. But they ain't never getting my money, and that's just how it is.
I think we have to be able to handle two thoughts at the same time.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff that I like, Norris, that you don't like, and vice versa.
And that's fine. And that's the beauty. This is America. That's the beauty of it, right? Like, I don't have to like everything. You don't have to like everything. The fact that you even voiced your displeasure with what I said is part of what makes America great.
I was just thinking about this. This could even be the catalyst to get something you do want.
Yeah, like a Uniqlo.
Or an Android store.
I don't need an Android store.
That's true. You don't really need one.
No one needs an Android store.
The Google store, whatever it is.
I don't want it.
But okay, so you're in that environment. I don't know. What was it? I saw one in Chicago.
Google had a store.
What do they do there?
The same thing they do at an Apple store. But
Okay.
the problem is that Android people are smart enough to fix their own tech.
Hey, now, listen, on my last laptop, which was an Apple laptop, I replaced the keyboard myself by hand. iFixit.com.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Right to repair.
Right to repair is very important, by the way. That's a side tangent for a whole nother episode.
Right to repair.
Right to repair. I'm very much into it. All right, the second big topic. A number of listeners said in different ways that with the new headquarters that Ford was building, because that was the big news, right? We spent a couple episodes on it.
Yeah.
Devin O'Reilly talked about it. We talked about it with a historian, that it wasn't good enough and that Ford should leave Dearborn and move to Detroit. John Santina, 97, said Ford should have moved from Dearborn, period. I also saw the sentiment on social media. I saw it in notes to me and in texts that this is something where it wasn't enough that that Ford needs to move to Detroit. And I think this misses a huge, huge thing about the future of our region.
Not only does it miss it, it reeks of inferiority complex. And you want to know why I say that? I'm going to say it this way. Both is the answer. The answer is not either or, all right? No one makes an either or when they really doing good. They do both. You don't sit around and say, do I want the Lambo or the Ferrari when you're a billionaire? You get both, all right? So the thing is that the city of Detroit is seeing investment from Ford through the train station and through training programs and through having their employees actually be centrally located within Detroit. Also, before you jump in, Jared, I want to say that Dearborn basically doesn't exist without Ford, okay? Like, it's invested that much into the city of Dearborn, and therefore it makes no financial sense for them whatsoever to upend that relationship and move to Detroit just for vibes, right? You do both because Ford makes enough money to do both. Come on, y'all.
And we got to move past cars. So I was actually
Let's hit it.
I was at.
Let's get past cars, doggy.
You know where else I was last week other than the Apple Store? And I haven't wrote about it yet in our newsletter.
Hit it.
I was at Michigan Central with a drone program. Did you know there is a drone control room at the top of that building now? Because they're working on advanced technologies for delivery, whether it's line of sight in the future, lack of line of sight, this idea that you can actually use drones to actually make delivery quick, affordable, and it's fascinating to me.
And without human prejudice.
Right. Well, so here's the other thing about it. I didn't realize this, but this whole thing about autonomous drones is like outside of close campuses, a bunch of like malarkey.
Yeah.
You need to have a drone driver. And there are jobs, and we're going to do an episode on this. There are Detroiters getting jobs, getting paid nearly $40 an hour to drive drones. Mm-hmm. How freaking cool is that? And that is that is the next chapter of delivery and trucking made possible because Ford did that project.
Yeah. And I don't want everybody to think we hopping on and just, we all on Ford's jockstrap. It's just the reality is the reality. That company probably doesn't get the ability to have that drone control room at a building with the height, with the sight lines, with the ability to be able to make test deliveries to a densely populated area unless it's in Corktown.
There's even a set aside for 3 miles around Michigan Central. There's a whole thing about it that I'm working on. It's just super cool. And I wanted to save talking about it, but this comment made me realize we have to highlight it's yes and. I want to look at development in the future, not about taking businesses from Plymouth to Detroit or Detroit to Macomb County or whatever. I want to stop taking pie from each other, and I want to grow pie.
Let's get it. And that's what I'm talking about, because every other metro area in the country does that. They cooperate. When a business is doing well in one of their suburbs, they expand to the city. They don't close the other store. They keep it open. If a business is doing good in South Beach and they want to open up a branch location in Melrose, guess what they do? They have both. They don't say we're just going to move because we think we can make more money there and so on and so forth. They do both. And that's how we got to start thinking about things here in the city of Detroit as more investment rolls in. We cannot continue to pit suburb versus city, city versus city. We have to stop, because the more we do that, the more money and talent gets extracted out of this region, because people will move elsewhere to go to a city that functions better, that they don't have to pay as many taxes, that the schools are better, that the roads are better, that there's public transportation. None of that stuff happens if we sitting there talking about something. I don't want Dearborn to have Ford. It needs to be in Detroit. It's never been in Detroit.
Well, I mean, actually, no, has it?
No.
There's Highland Park. Now, they did do some of the first tests.
They did tests here.
So 2 things in Ford history. There is the Michigan building. That was the site of the first drive.
The first drive,
And then there was the track, but that wasn't Detroit at that time. Remember, there was a racetrack over there by Riverbend on Jefferson? The Riverbend Plaza.
Yeah, that wasn't Detroit.
No, that wasn't Detroit at the time. That was in the township, or was it Fairview? I forget.
But it wasn't officially Detroit at the time, is what I'm saying. I don't think Ford has ever had its headquarters within Detroit city borders.
So I think I look at it as the yes and I really want our wider conversation to start to vision to the future. I know it's hard because we've only seen one thing for so long, but I want to see us looking forward,
Yeah, no, 1,000%. And look, the way I view it is this, is that I understand where you're coming from, because people want Detroit to win. They want Detroit to win so bad. But I'm telling y'all right now, Detroit cannot win without its neighbors. We won't. You see what happens to Detroit when its neighbors don't cooperate with it.
And its neighbors can't win without Detroit.
Say it again.
I've looked at the data. You look at the Tri-County area, Wayne, Oakland, Macomb. We've lost more than 775,000 people since 1970. Now the region's been mostly flat, but why is that? Because now we're including so many more counties
Yeah.
that have spread out. The tri-county area needs to lean on each other. This whole idea that we can be separate from each other is just dumb in the modern era.
Yeah. So I get how you feel. I get how you got there, but we got to think bigger. And you know what? Not just bigger. We got to think stronger and with more confidence. Detroit got to puff his chest out a lot more and not just say, yeah, okay, you could be in Dearborn, but you ain't really doing nothing without being here too. That's how we got to frame it. You ain't doing nothing unless you here too.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to doing that report later. I'm very, very excited about it because I'm really curious about all the different applications. You think about those jobs. You think about stuff like delivery. One thing about delivery where it could be changing, and I know I'm sharing a lot early, but one thing that's game-changing about delivery in Metro Detroit, even in the more urban areas, and this is true in a lot of America, Detroit's not alone in this, the amount of time that it takes to drive to places with just to drop off a meal.
Yeah.
If you can go straight, or if you can do something where you don't have a car burning a ton of gas, traffic, everything else, it makes a lot more sense. And just the revelations that I had around this are just so cool. I'm working on getting a couple CEOs in here. Also, a programming note, in about 3 weeks, we're going to be broadcasting live from Michigan Central for something very special.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. So stay on the lookout for more details of that. But, I agree with you. Listen, people have been flying drones for the military for the past 10, 15 years already. And it has been one of the most in-demand jobs, actually, from a military tech point of view. And now that tech is finally hitting the commercial sector, you're going to see a lot more jobs with that. So people are wondering, oh, my God, what's going to happen to the DoorDash drivers and all this other stuff? You know, when one door closes, a window opens. And so I think there are some people who will have opportunities as delivery drivers for drone delivery services. Why not?
And honestly, it sounds like it's a lot more stable job.
Sounds way more fun,
right? Way more fun. Because if you can sit there and lock in and like work a shift, you're always going to be busy.
Yeah, you just be like, all right, bro, I'm locking in 8 hours of basically playing Ace Combat and flying a drone around Metro Detroit, dropping off various goods. Like, that sounds pretty cool, actually.
All right, well, for our podcast episode today, we are going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening. As always, if you've got feedback, dailydetroit@gmail.com. Thank you so much to our members on Patreon, patreon.com/dailydetroit, who keep this project going. And I am writing a regular newsletter now, too, as if I'm not doing enough, Norris Howard.
Yeah, you do a lot. Listen, y'all, join the Patreon so we can help this man. Do you see all the stuff he gives you? Do you see all the content you get from Daily Detroit out of the kindness of his heart? Help this man and give to the Patreon, and also slide over to our website, dailydetroit.com. Follow us on all of our social medias, Daily Detroit on everything.
Well, with that, I'm Jer Stays.
And I'm Norris Howard.
Remember that you are somebody, and we'll talk soon. All right, that's it for this episode. Chat is live. Hello, chat.
Chat is popping.
I love it.
Let me just say this. One of the old favorites, Mr. 1213. Or did he tell us it was 1213? I think he said it was 1213. Mr. 1213 says Dan Gilbert wants better mass transit. Yeah, he does. He's gone on record many times.
We talked about it actually in an episode of the podcast. If you're on the YouTube, it's actually in our go back in the feed. We talked a little bit about the reaction of that with Transportation Writers United Executive Director Megan Owens. I think it's a positive step forward. I do think he does want it. But we got to get the money. The execution's got to happen.
The money, not just the execution. The main thing that I think people need to realize is that the tax base of just Detroit by itself can't do it. So there's going to have to be a regional partnership, and there's going to have to be a private-public element to it. And we talked about this also at our meetup over the weekend. And, I think a lot of people, it sticks in their craw that, some private money is going to have to be used for this. But we got to come to a very, very serious realization when it comes to Detroit so far is that the thing that we need to attract the talent that we want to make a mass transit system be fully public we got to build the mass transit system to get those people. Like we gotta build it so the people can come. So eventually we won't have to lean on the public-private partnership, and then maybe we can expand it to more places from there, so on and so forth. We haven't talked about a light rail system that I think actually is very underrated, which is Boston's. Boston's light rail system is not the greatest in the world. However, it goes everywhere you need to go in metropolitan Boston. And if we could even build something 50% of the size of that, we'd be in a good place. And then we'd be able to attract some of the talent and some of the people that we could get, that we would want.
Mike Wong, good to see you. Talking about the video that Adam showed on the live stream, that the mop bucket was doing a lot of work. Yeah,
that mop
place
bucket
was tore up,
struggling, man. Yeah, the Leland is in bad shape, bro.
Andrew McGee mentions two things: that Hotel Yorba could be a cool eclectic. I hope it has electricity. A cool eclectic hotel like the Siren Hotel. The Leland for sure be renovated into condos. You know, I want to make that point. Like the hotel thing really is returning better ROI for investors right now. That's something that me and Devin talked a little bit about. Is it just a lot stronger with some of the things? I hope there's some reforms under the next mayoral administration, whoever it may be. By the way, Durhal endorsed Sheffield, which doesn't surprise me.
I'm not shocked. We've said it many times on this show, which was, I think he was going to be one of the. I think really the Jenkins endorsement was more surprising for me.
Not for me.
Yeah, see, we the opposite. The Durhal thing is less surprising to me.
I don't know if it was. I don't think that the question is that what is he trying to do next? And it's so funny because I talked to so many people who really like him, but they like. It's a weird thing. I think he's going to do well in whatever position he gets put into.
Yeah.
With that, if he decides to do that, I don't think. I'm going to say something wild. I don't think Santil's going back into government.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think she's going back in the government.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean,
I think that affects the endorsement.
That's pure speculation.
Pure speculation, but. My thought is that if you're not going back into the government, why not?
Yeah, it harms you none.
Yeah.
It harms you none.
Andrew McGee, the Whittier needs attention ASAP. Yeah, it is. There's another eyesore over there.
Man, all the Jefferson period needs.
There's so much
stuff over there that's cool.
Yeah, because I live just a little bit away from there, and so there's that new construction that's happening right there, which is crazy.
Just past the boulevard.
Yeah, there's new construction, but also there's a couple of older, lower slung apartment buildings in there that could be cool. That could be so imagine a world where there's like a proper
in a world
with a proper bus rapid transit system, that you could connect to downtown. And it could be so seamless. There's so much potential right there for density. It's zoned for it. The Whittier is absolutely beautiful, has a ton of history. There's some other low-slung buildings there. There's some other vacant properties that you could do something with.
It's a lot of potential on Jefferson.
You just got to program it. So one thing is my grandmother used to stay over there.
Yeah.
And I had an auntie that stayed in there too, and then other friends who've lived in those buildings. There is no you're locked in to that side of Jefferson. There needs to be a way to cross Jefferson to get into the villages a lot easier because it's like playing Frogger.
It is. It's weird.
And there needs to be
a lot going on. And Jefferson is also too big.
It's way too big.
People don't want to hear that. Jefferson's too big. It needs to be smaller.
You know what? Okay, I want to talk about this for a quick second. I know we got a lot of chat going on. It's like literally spinning at this point. But Gratiot Avenue, we need to address it now.
Too huge.
I know that there is a police crackdown going on right now. But Gratiot has had a number of terrible fatalities lately.
Yeah,
based on
not too long ago. Yeah, based on speed because the road is too big for how many people are there. And so what happens is that people speed on it because there's no one around you for a half a mile. But a half a mile is up real fast when you go in 98.
Yeah. There have been a number of deaths, and it has to be. And the only way it's going to be addressed long term is through restructuring and redesigning it somehow. Because I crossed that thing. I went to a thing at La Ventana recently. And the difference between where it's at La Ventana with the island there that's past 375 or past 75 versus out where I am, farther out. Or if you go to, which by the way, really tasty is, I'm going to talk about it more on the show, but the Moroccan place up there, up by me, that's really good.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, let me see here really quick. That is Saffron des Trois.
Yes.
I'm within.
Love Saffron.
Yeah, it's so good. But sitting out there on the patio and watching the cars speed by, like, if that had an island like that other area, it would be completely different.
Yeah, it would. And I mean, you know, and you talk about sitting at Saffron and, you know, how fast people are going. I mean, one of those fatalities was a car careening into a restaurant, that restaurant that used to be that Burger King right there next to Eastern Market on
Avenue
Gratiot.
Grill.
Yes, Avenue Grill.
So here's the thing. They're already open for drive-through. They're already back open for drive-through.
Because first of all, I respect the hustle.
All right, you know what we got to do?
Yeah,
You know where we have to
gotta
go.
go eat.
We got to go eat
We
at
gotta
Avenue
go
Grill.
eat.
We got to review Avenue Grill.
We got to go eat. Because listen, let me tell y'all something, man. When you saw the video of how hard that car hit that building, I am shocked that building is still standing, number one. And number two, shocked that more people didn't get grievously injured. But there was one fatality, but it was that people are going too dang on fast.
Hopping around the chat here a little bit, I'm going to try not to skip everybody. But Mr. Duckett said Junkins and Durhall needs jobs. I think one of them needs a job. I think the other one's going to be fine. And what I mean by that is that I think Jenkins can find private sector work very easily.
Yeah.
I think Durhall could if he wanted to. But
I mean, they
Durhall's-
all can.
But Durhall's very aligned towards government in his career. But yeah, I think they do need jobs. That's true.
They need jobs. That's funny.
Jobs. It's so true. So yeah, let's keep going with this. Mike Wong reinforcing about the personal preference. Stina says that she is the only Android user in her family, and it creates a mood sometimes. Also says no Google Store. They have no consistency.
I agree.
I was gonna let you be that. Yeah,
We don't need it. See, that's what I'm trying to explain to y'all. We don't need it. First of all, because the people at the Google store can't fix Androids better than Android users. Like Android users are already power users. Like to even get an Android to do what you want it to do, you have to read at a 12th grade level.
Mr. Duckett, what's up, fam? Good to see you again, Mr. Duckett. It's very good. Yeah, and the thing is, in the context of that question about needing jobs, I think it's about that positioning, because the endorsement, if you're going to back the winner, that's also seeming to be tied. It's so interesting with Mary Sheffield, because it's like some people think she's too tied to the business community, and there's people in the business community who don't trust her because she's not tied to radical. She's too radical.
Yeah,
it's a real. I've heard that same statement in the same day from mouths from two different sides.
But you know what? But sometimes that could be an advantageous position to be in, because what that tells me is that there are people on both sides she could talk to and be trustworthy enough. Like that's the thing that says it to me. Also, Durhall is also a member of this current administration as well in city council, so it makes sense that he would want to stick around for a little bit.
Well, there's a history there, right?
Yeah.
Andrew McGee, get Ford, Illich's, and Stephen Ross on board with mass
Never
transit.
happening.
And we might get, even though Illich's seem very unmotivated in other aspects, I think Ford plays a lot more with Stephen Ross.
Ford might.
I think Ford.
Ford might, but see, the thing is, Ford has to be the one to build the cars and build the rails.
So here's the thing. I was talking to somebody
who
made a really good point that, like, why is it that we don't do a consortium of General Motors and Ford for transit for both BRT and then eventually rail or something? They're mobility companies. Why aren't they hands deep in this to create a Detroit solution that they could then sell or improve?
Because Norfolk Standard, was it Norfolk?
Well, I'm not talking about just the rails, but if you think about it.
Oh, like street, like BRT and street level stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
There's a lot of mobility stuff that they could do that could be really interesting, and they have done in the past, to be honest. There's a number. So didn't it GMC used to do a bunch of that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, GMC used to be like the commercial, or still is, but they used to. I remember riding a GMC bus at some time. I think I did. I did read.
Yeah, but they all made buses and stuff at some point. It wouldn't be difficult for them to do BRT or street level rail or any of that type of stuff. So that part of it, I agree. I think involving the rest of the sort of we have not done a good enough job showing incentivizing them that this is a thing that they need, because also the Stephen Rosses and the Illiches of the world have become billionaires already.
We're hopping around on topics here. I apologize, everybody, but I'm trying to catch up here. how to apply for that drone driving job? Would they train? Mr. 1213, I think that's part of the plan is to do training. I'm working on that story because I think it could be very interesting. I think I know a lot of people would be interested in it. One of the things that you realize with drones is that you need higher end training because you're navigating airspace.
Yep.
And you need to know safety protocols because you're talking about flying over people's property, or even if you're flying across down streets and not people's property, you're talking about flying in areas where other people are. You got to be real on point with that stuff. So I think that's one of the reasons why it could be a really valuable job going forward. So I'm looking into that, and I will do my best because I know a lot of people are going to be actually into this one.
Yeah, I know photographers who have had to get drone licenses because to fly up a certain height, you have to have a license because then you'll be taking up the same airspace as helicopters and stuff like that.
Stina Lee talks about no crosswalks on Gratiot either, and not even any real corners that people could be safer crossing at. That is true. I literally took the Gratiot this morning, and yeah, that is like mad. It's wild out there. It's really hard to cross.
It's dangerous. It's just straight up
and
dangerous.
The road's tore up from the floor up.
Yeah, it's just straight up dangerous, man. And because there's such a lack of stuff on Gratiot, even its sister street, Grand River, which also is too large,
yes,
has more on it, and therefore it's just going to be more difficult to justify ripping it all up, making it smaller,
especially past the South Field. Now, inside the South Field, it's a different story.
Inside the South Field is more similar to Gratiot than not. However, I wouldn't even say inside the South Field. I would say inside 96.
Yeah.
Right, inside 96 Schaefer area.
It doesn't start like once you
go past Schaefer, there's stuff there. So
yeah, like once you get past like Straight Gate Church, it starts to get empty
96.
real quick.
Yeah,
it's
so
96,
once you get 96 at Schaefer, there's stuff there, and especially once you get past Southfield. I mean, you talking about 70 to 80% occupancy in each of the storefronts. So
Gratiot. Andrew says Gratiot needs a road diet for safety investment reasons. Yes, it does. Nothing's going to happen unless that thing gets fixed somehow. It's insane. Mr. Duckett, yes, I love Moroccan food too. I would say get the potatoes, the harissa potato. I'm going to talk about this on the Friday show with Devin, I'm sure, or a future show. The potatoes. It's like a 3-day process they do on the potatoes. They're off the chain. They're insane.
I haven't had the potatoes.
The chicken sandwich. Really
I've
good.
had the chicken sandwich.
They use the dark meat, which is really good.
That's the only time I've actually eaten dark meat chicken. I actually don't like dark meat.
Really?
Yeah, too greasy.
Oh, see, if done right, it's not too greasy.
No, it's not. When it's done right, it's great. But just typically,
a lot of people don't do that.
Typically, it's just.
It was crazy good. There's also the lamb. Yeah, it was really good. Also, they have a carrot salad.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
Yep.
So it's worth it. It was, it was quite the experience. It's a very small place, so make a reservation if you can. If you don't make a reservation, expect to wait about a half an hour. Very few seats. You know what? When I go up to it, have you ever been to places in like off the beaten path places in New Orleans?
I've never been to New Orleans.
Never been to New Orleans?
Mm-mm. That's like the one city.
It reminds me of that. It reminds me
of
when I sat out there. I'm like, am I in New Orleans, but with a very fast road in front of me?
You gotta remember, man. When Katrina hit when I was like 18, 19 years old, and so my 20s, my prime Mardi Gras years, like half the city was still underwater, bro.
A little difference in age between us.
Yeah. So would I like to visit? Yeah, sure. I would love to visit.
Oh, you would have so much fun in New Orleans.
Check it out. Yeah.
I really look at New Orleans in some ways as a sister city with the French roots and older roots and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Stanley, of course you made that carrot salad because you're amazing and can do all kinds of things I cannot do.
I don't even know how one makes a carrot salad. I mean, with carrots.
Well, she can tell you. She'll tell you.
Yeah, sure.
I can't tell you.
But I'm pretty sure it requires
I don't have those kind of talents.
Stewing the carrots or like having, I don't know, it seemed like vinegar would be involved. I don't know. I get confused when it comes to stuff like that.
Mr. 1213, Michigan Avenue is becoming a walkable avenue. However, there's a dead zone between Cass and Trumbull. Yeah, there is. There's that weird zone there.
Well, it's because there's...
The freeway bridge.
Well, not just that. You have the federal building. You can't do nothing with that. Then you got the AT&T building.
And you got the police headquarters.
You got the police headquarters. Can't do nothing with that. And then you had a casino. Can't really do nothing with that. So you got and the DTE headquarters, which is technically not on Michigan Avenue, but
it's right there.
The footprint is huge. So you got like 4 or 5 just massive buildings you can't really do anything with.
So I think you could do something really from the lodge on where that James Oliver is.
Yeah.
You could change the situation from the lodge on. I really wish we had some sort of dedicated, I know we're not going to get rail, but like I really want
A streetcar would be nice.
or something that goes up Michigan into Corktown, especially now that to connect the new stadium.
Yeah.
We need something on the regular that's almost like a short loop that's not the whole Michigan Avenue bus. We need something that goes from downtown up to 20th Street where the stadium is,
Where the stadium is, yeah.
and then just loops back.
Or maybe even loop down the southwest a little bit. Like loops down to like where like Social Milkos is and comes back.
Okay, so there's that autonomous driving pilot or whatever, that thing they relaunched, the city of Detroit relaunched. And I keep looking at their map, and I know that they're doing it. It's a pilot, and they're trying to learn things, and it's a very, very confusing circular route. Mm-hmm. And I wish we would just do things that are transit enhancements just straight down the line. I was thinking about that. The Gratiot bus, did you know the Gratiot bus sits and waits over by 3rd Street and Michigan Avenue?
Why?
I don't know. I'm sure there's something historic for it, but there's so many dumb things. The other day, I was on Woodward, and the Woodward bus got stuck for 25 minutes. I wasn't on the bus. I saw it. I was running some errands because some idiot had their truck parked because the Woodward bus doesn't go straight up and down Woodward. They check it over to the Rosa Parks Transit Center, and then they cut it all the way around again.
Right, yeah.
Just make things go fast.
Yeah, but I mean, if you coming down to the bus depot, you got to stop at the bus depot. If you're that close to it, you got to touch it.
Mr. Duckett, our section of Grand River between Southfield and Evergreen has poorly executed bike lanes and islands. Grass should beware. Yeah, you got to do it
Those bike
right.
lanes suck, though. He's right.
Yeah.
He's right.
This
Those
isn't like
bike lanes-
Livernois where they're up on the sidewalk. No, this is different.
Those bike lanes are terrible, man. I was just up there the other day. Those bike lanes suck. So, like, if you're one of those people who are like, I hate bike lanes, but then you tell me, like, I'm from Rosedale. Yeah, you got a point. You got a point. Because those bike lanes are terrible. Nobody uses them. Like, they're obtrusive. They weren't well thought out.
There's a balance here.
There
that needs
is,
to be
and
struck.
I think people should recognize like where is bike usage most common and most likely, and I think we should just be more intelligent instead of just going put them on the major thoroughfares, which I think low key people don't. I haven't heard this from the Department of Transportation at all, but a part of me feels like that was their low effort road diet answer. Which is like, there's not enough
What do you
people
mean with the bollards?
with the bike lanes, yeah, and the bollards, where it was like, there's not enough people on Grand River, just put a bike lane there.
So that's actually kind of true. So we had
Yeah.
Mark Nikita on a previous episode of the show.
Yeah,
Go back, and I should have him on again because I want to talk about the international style architecture of the Ford headquarters. There's one more piece of the Ford headquarters story I want to do, and that is about the international style of the architecture in the campus. But Mark was part of the design of some of these things, and that's true. There wasn't money, so you use paint and whatever you can,
paint and plastic,
to really. It's not necessarily as much about how many bikers, but it's about right sizing the road in a way that makes sense, that's cost effective, because we just don't need roads that wide. We just don't, and we won't for a long time, no matter how well we
and
do.
we probably never will again.
So and they're not safe for bikers either.
No,
they're not safe for bicyclists either.
I'm just saying, dude. When you see that Manhattan has 1 8-lane road, which is Avenue of the Americas, I believe.
Okay, so Mr. 1213, give us a little history lesson. The Gratiot line began at Michigan and 3rd. Okay, I wonder. Okay, maybe it's like tied to the
They
street.
just never changed the route. Yeah,
There once was the Gratiot Cobo Hall that stopped at Michigan and 3rd.
that's true. He's right.
Yeah,
He's right.
Yep, of course he's right. But like, oh yeah, now I'm starting to remember because I used to write it back in the day.
He's right.
Yep.
Because that used to be the joint. If you was on the east side, that's what you took to go to the Joe.
The carrots are supposed to be grated.
I don't know what that means. Like,
Grate the carrots.
Great. I thought you said graded.
No, grate.
Great.
Yes.
I do have a nice grater, so maybe I'll try it. And I did just buy some baby carrots.
There you go.
I eat baby carrots like chips.
That's what. This is why you're thinner than me.
Yeah, like one of my snack things is baby carrots.
Mike Wong, just now catching up on the recent newsletter. I totally missed that Tim Cook actually showed up for the grand opening.
Yeah,
That's
Tim
amazing.
Apple.
Tim Apple was there.
Tim Apple showed up.
I didn't call him Tim Apple.
You should have. I'm all for this. I am all for making very rich people feel very regular.
I will admit that I was skeptical if he was going to come.
Uh-huh.
I admit it. I didn't think
He's not Jobs. So here's the thing. Tim Apple does not have the same star power as Steve Jobs, right? Like, I think Steve Jobs definitely had to live in a bubble because of just who he was, beyond his own brain, obviously.
Yeah.
But just who he was, no, he's not a guy who could just walk outside and go to the opening of the Detroit store. But Tim Apple can.
The discussion, or the wider discussion, this is one of the things that really sometimes grounds me, is being out in the real world. The wider discussion around people were genuinely excited to see him.
Well, yeah, because here was one of the most powerful men in industry showing up to Detroit for just I don't want to say a regular store opening, because obviously there was the Manufacturing Academy, which is a major investment in the city and very much so a big deal. So I think him showing up had way more to do with that aspect of it than just the store itself. But also the store is a thing, and like I said on the show, and I've said many times, like, Detroit is a narrative thing now. Like, Detroit is no longer just that black city in Michigan or the biggest city in Michigan. It has become a part of a larger national narrative that I think people want the energy off of it so bad, because the energy from everything else is so garbage that, like, we are one of the I want everybody to think about this. Detroit right now is one of the few winning stories in America. Like, let's extrapolate this. It is one of the few feel-good stories of the whole country, right? People are talking about, oh, L.A., the National Guard, and all this stuff happening. Oh, my God, New York, and the homeless situation. Everything is bad, these cities, and da-da-da-da. And then you hear Detroit, and people are just like, Detroit's so cool. I'm happy that it's coming back. I'm happy we're seeing investment. Wow, crime is going down. Wow. Now, do I think we got a long way to go to fix a lot of stuff? Make this whole thing more equitable for residents and the people who've been here for many years? Absolutely. But we do have to acknowledge that we are a feel-good story in an era that don't feel good.
I agree with you 100%. Tending to the chat, Andrew says that I think there are many people biking on Gratiot from Eastern Market up to 94. Gratiot so wide, but the bike lanes on the sidewalks and make sidewalks twice as big.
But even if you make the sidewalks twice as big, people don't walk.
So I do like separated bike lanes like that, because there's another point that Mr. 1213 makes, that bike lanes create dangerous blind spots for cars because the bike is riding between the curb and the car parked in the street. Not all, like, that particular kind of bike lane, I see exactly what he's saying, right?
No, he's correct. Yeah.
But there are other ways to do it, as we've learned more about how to do them right, that doesn't happen, right? There's ways to do that. The challenge that I have with a place like Gratiot, I've biked down East Jefferson before. Mm-hmm. I would never touch that on a bike. And the reason being, I would rather do side streets or something, or cut a different route, because the amount of speed and intensity and the terrible quality of the pavement, there's just like, when I bike on the east side, I'm going to go down to a much quieter street. I'm not even going to mess with Mac. Is insane. I'm not going to mess with Mac.
Nah, you probably get down to like Lafayette or something.
I go all the way down to the protected bike lanes down by West Village.
Yeah.
That's the only way to go. Yeah.
Yeah, but my thing is that because of the lack of stuff on Gratiot, it makes all of everything more dangerous.
Right, because when you drive it, and I really learned that because I was driving that Ford Mustang GT. Mm-hmm. Oh, that thing was fun. Yeah. But when I was in that vehicle, I realized so much so how this turns into a video game.
No,
super fast.
It does. But and that's the thing, is like, the reason why it's easier to bike on Jefferson or Grand River or whatever is because people can't drive that fast, because they're looking for the parking lot of the thing they're going to, right? They're looking for the Wendy's. They're looking for the antique shop.
They're awake. They're awake.
They're awake. They're aware. They're looking for the thing. When you're on Gratiot, after you get past about Van Dyke, you just gunning it at 80 till you get to downtown. Like for real, like till you get to the 75 interchange.
Unless there's a car show going on.
Yeah, unless it's a car show. But until you get to that interchange, that Gratiot in 75 and 375 interchange, or you going straight downtown, you doing 80 on Gratiot.
Stina also made couscous arancini.
I don't want to hear no more about food, bro. I'm starving. I don't want to hear no more talk about food. I need to eat right now.
Where should Norris eat, chat?
Where should I go? Actually, yeah, before we dip out, where should I go to eat? So what time is it right now?
3:40.
It's 3:40, so early dinner. Where should I go for early dinner? Dinner, as I like to call it.
And he'll post on social media.
I will, and show you, and I will tag you if you suggest a place I like. And don't make it too expensive neither. It's the end of the month. Where should I go? Like, don't be like, you should go to Freya. Like, bro, you see how I'm dressed? I do not have to fit on to go to Freya.
You don't have to fit on to go to Freya. You know what's happening this weekend, or this early end of the week?
What's that?
The Black Tech
That's
Saturdays
right.
Digital Empowerment Summit. You're going to be going over there. I think that's the plan.
Yes, I will. Oh, Baobab. I should go to Baobab.
New chatter, by the way. Hello, Random Task. New chatter. Baobab's a good choice, and it's close.
Good choice. It is a good choice.
That's a good nomination. But the summit back again.
Yes, it's back again. The Digital Empowerment Summit from our friends over at Black Tech Saturdays. I'll be over there hanging out, kicking it, talking to people. And, listen, I want to say this, man. Black Tech Saturday, Johnny and Alexa, we got to give y'all even more props, even more hand claps, what they've been able to accomplish and bring together for the tech community of not just Detroit, but of the entire diaspora, because people have been showing up to Black Tech Saturday from all over the country. And it's a phenomenal thing. So I'm excited for the summit and excited to see a lot of my contemporaries there. The cool thing about Black Tech Saturday is like half the people there all went to Wayne State. So it's like, it's almost like a little baby homecoming. So it's also very fun. So I can't wait to show up and hang out.
Too late for Taco Tuesday at Plum Market. I've never been to Taco Tuesday at Plum Market. It's right there. We should go sometime.
I didn't know Taco Tuesday at Plum Market was a thing, but now I do.
We're gonna have to go. It's literally just over there.
But you see what we was talking about? You see what I'm talking about, chat? You see what I mean? Why the hell is Plum Market closed at 3:42 on a Tuesday? Why? Tell me. It's dumb.
Tell me why.
It's dumb. I think it's stupid. I don't care what building it's in. I don't care. It should be open to 8. Period. The one downtown ain't open long enough.
You just denied.
Cowards. The whole lot of them. Be open. And then everyone like, oh, we didn't make enough money. Yeah, because you closed at 3.
Dooley's Coney Island or La Jalisciense. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I could do that.
That play Chef. Remember he was on the show?
Yeah, I know.
We saw him at the stadium reveal.
Yeah, I should go to Jalisciense.
La Jalisciense. It was really good. It is really good. And it's not going to break your bank.
It ain't.
It's not going to break the bank account. That's a little Southwest action.
It
you take
is.
some pictures of the Yorba.
Yeah, it is because it's usually just a piss. I don't care who it's for. It's supposed to be for me.
As you wear your Pistons gear?
Yeah. That's where I got this shirt from. But I'm just saying, like, you can't use, it's just a cafeteria. Bro, it's the only store for like a mile.
How far is it to the pharmacy at the Fisher building from here?
That's barely a store. No diss to the people on there.
But listen, that pharmacy being there has saved my tail.
No, it does. Like, if you need some Pepto, you still got to walk half a mile.
La Jalisciense. Mike Wong's got love for it.
Oh, I might have to do it, y'all. Yeah, I think I'm doing it.
Take pictures.
I'll take pictures.
Chef will be happy.
I think I'm doing it, man. I haven't been down to the Southwest in a minute, so I'll slide. And I like how their sauce was actually hot. I hate when I go somewhere and they say, "Oh, here's the hot and the mild," and they give me the hot, and it just tastes like buffalo. Like, no, bro. If I say I want hot, I want hot.
But isn't buffalo like a different flavor of hot?
It is, but I'm saying it ain't heat, right? When I want hot, bro. I'm tired, man.
Stina says that her brother keeps working on his streetscape outside his fence on Michigan Avenue. I do want to see what that is. I know you want to out it on public, but we're connected offline, so let me know. I'm curious to see how it is. Oh, what the heck they're putting in Milwaukee and Baltimore fiber? What the heck are they putting on Milwaukee and Baltimore? You know what? That's been some crazy stuff lately around here. I know you come from the south, so you don't see it, but a bunch of the streets around here has been dug up with like a little trench, and they've been putting pipe through it, and like
Oh, they're doing that. It's one up here on what's this street just north of us, Jer? You know what I'm talking about.
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. They're doing it on Amsterdam. They're doing it on. They're actually doing it on the freeway.
Speaking of Amsterdam,
On the Lodge. They're doing it on the Lodge too. The Lodge has had 2 lanes closed.
they just ran a
Right
bunch
at
of stuff down
Jefferson.
2nd Avenue.
Probably is fiber.
We should check with the city and see what it is. By the way, now leasing the apartments at the old Cadillac plant behind us
That's
on Amsterdam.
right.
Great Water Opportunity Capital finished those. They're also getting open the Palms building,
That's right.
renovated, and I think there's another one. So there's a bunch of apartments coming online.
Yeah. So if you are looking for a new apartment to check out, you can live literally around the corner from the Daily Detroit Studios if you want to.
And this does not bias me, but I know that a couple of the people over there who work on that stuff listen to the show. So
That's right.
Hello.
Hey.
I don't know
they
if you're in
didn't pay
chat.
us. They didn't pay us.
Did not pay us, but
They didn't pay us.
if you want to try a new place, try La Palapa on Lawton in Southwest Detroit. The food was great, and they had a margarita flute.
Man, it's Tuesday. I can't be drinking no margarita flutes. I'm just go where I know the food
Friday.
is. Yeah.
No,
Friday.
we got to go. All right, La Palapa.
But
We
I
got to try that.
gotta go to the after party on Friday.
All right, well, can we go without a margarita flute? Is that permissible?
No, you don't go to a place that has a margarita flute and not get one.
So when are we getting a margarita flute with Engineer Randy?
I don't know, man. Maybe next weekend.
Lawndale, not Lawton, Andrew says.
Yeah. But I think let's ask the city. But I think the thing that they're putting in the ground it might be fiber optic.
There's a grocery store on Michigan near Livernois that sells hot food. I know what that is. I've been there before. Is it Prince Market?
I love how every suggestion has been in the Southwest. That makes me feel so good.
Yeah, Prince Valley Market, not Prince Market. Prince Valley Market.
yeah.
They do have a ton of food that you can grab from. I've been there before. That place is always crazy busy.
That's every time I've been, it's been busy.
Yeah, over there by Livernois. If you haven't been,
Yeah,
you have
every
not
time I've
been.
been, it's been busy. But yeah, I think
And its logo is a shield, which I appreciate.
yeah, I'm definitely going. I've made my decision, chat, and I'm going.
Lawton's in my neighborhood. I was about to say. See, this is how we know we've got Detroiters in here.
Yep.
One thing I love about this show, as we've been growing, although we have neighbors from around the country, this show particularly, much more so than social media,
No,
we got our neighbors in here.
Yeah, it's our neighbors. You live next door to these people.
Or like when we were at the meetup, we had people from the city, from Berkeley, from Auburn Hills, from different places. Like it's people who are here. It's not. I was. It's not when we post something on Instagram, anytime it goes over 10,000 people, there's somebody from Oklahoma City who's like not got the recipes.
That's a good way to put it.
And so that's one of the reasons why I like doing the newsletter and stuff and been growing that.
Yeah.
Tell your friends about that too, because it seems like some sponsors really like emails. So I just want to make sure we do stuff that people like and tell me what you like to see in that stuff. I always appreciate it. All right. Well, anything else that we got going on?
Not much, man.
We have been at it a minute. It's now 80 minutes. We're literally almost 80 minutes in.
Yeah, I'm about to fall out. I gotta eat.
All right. Then we will end it there. Thank you so much, everybody who has been watching the chat. It is so much fun to do this every week.
Yeah, it is. It's a blast. And make sure you guys tell your friends about the live show too. So, if they're like, I don't know, like at work on the toilet or something, they could chime in and say what's up.
All right. Well, with that, I'm Jer Stays.
And I'm Norris Howard.
Thank you so much for watching. Remember that you are somebody, and we'll talk real soon.